It's the road to Rio!
That's me, Mark Watson.
And that's me, Henning Wehn. Massive him.
And what can you say about us? Well, we're neighbours.
Let's stick together.
Both work as comedians.
If I ever meet Pele, I'm going to call him Phil.
I'm English, of course.
And I'm German.
Oh, blimey, Governor.
We're bonded by our love for football.
This is World Cup year, so we're on a South American road trip. A slightly unusual road trip because I can't actually drive, unlike my friend Henning.
Well, I'm not quite sure how I managed this.
But you're very good at reading maps.
Just carry on. Go along. We're visiting all 6 South American countries involved in this year's finals.
We're tracking down former World Cup legends.
Chile!
And hopefully we're discovering the secrets of the continent's football success.
So join us on
The Road to Rio!
Rio 2014!
After 3 weeks in South America, it's time to venture north.
Now just 2 countries stand between us and Brazil, and we're visiting them both.
In this show, we travel to Colombia and Ecuador, 2 underdogs of South American football with some star players and big World Cup dreams.
We'll explore Colombia's dramatic improvement both on and off the pitch.
I sample local life with one of the most colourful footballers of all time, Faustino Asprilla.
Más conocido como Mr. Bean.
See! Mr. Bean!
And in a flying visit to Ecuador, we try to discover how one tiny corner of the world can produce so much success.
3 villages, 8 players and play in the World Cup.
Eight of the
8
Euro
players.
the Ecuador team.
We've arrived in Colombia's second biggest city. Here we are in Medellin, Colombia.
Situated in a valley in the most northerly of the Andes, as recently as 20 years ago, Medellin was under the control of drug cartels and was considered the most dangerous place in the world.
When we were growing up, people were quite often killed here and it would be on the news.
And now it turns out it's a perfectly agreeable city.
It still has a reputation as being slightly dangerous. Certainly everyone...
Yeah, well, reputation.
You know.
Germany has got a reputation for being humorless, and look at me.
It's true. It's true. Never judge a book by its cover, eh, mate?
Things are changing fast. The cartels have largely disappeared and, well, the dark times are becoming a thing of the past.
Almost in tandem is the changing fortunes of the national team. In previous World Cups, Colombia have only reached the last 16 once. But this year, they go to Rio with their highest ever world ranking.
Oh, that counts for a lot.
Yes.
To get to know the country better, we're going to learn about narco football, when drugs and football were inseparable.
Back then, the drug lords bought themselves into clubs to use as playthings and to launder cocaine money.
Here in Medellin, the game was run by the world's most notorious drugs kingpin, Pablo Escobar, who was killed in 1993.
His influence on football was that he basically controlled Nacional and Medellin, the 2 teams in this city, and he basically bought a lot of results by threatening to have referees killed and other players and stuff like that.
So I expect to meet the face of evil today.
Yeah, well, the face of evil's brother.
Roberto Escobar was Pablo's right-hand man and the cartel's accountant, so I'm hoping I can at least get some help with my tax return.
Yeah, good luck. We're visiting the home where they both lived in hiding before their downfall.
We're only allowed to go in Escobar's own vehicle because he's been regularly shot at, which doesn't happen to too many accountants unless someone gets really cross about an ISA.
Here we are, Roberto Martinez's house.
Roberto Escobar.
Oh, yeah.
Roberto Martinez is
that
the...
would be less scary, wouldn't
He's the Everton manager, and this is the brother of a former drug lord and murderer. So, yeah, it's actually quite a significant difference.
Well, I think this is a case of what's the worst that can happen.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure that's the way to look at it.
At the height of Escobar's power, they smuggled more than 15 tons of cocaine a day.
Now Roberto is half blind and nearly deaf because of a letter bomb, so it's not quite clear how well we'll communicate with him.
Hola.
Hola. Hola.
Hola.
Muy bien. Hola.
Hola.
Llamo Mark. Sí.
All around us, the family's antisocial history is proudly displayed.
Hace unos años, acá, por eso yo tengo cámaras por todo el sector, intentaron secuestrarme en la casa. Uno de los secuestradores entró con una pistola en la mano, le disparó a la foto de Pablo. Perforó acá y perforó la pared.
Right, I see. So that's a bullet hole from a bullet.
That's a bullet hole, all right. Once we've moved to somewhere with less reminders of death, it's straight into the awkward question.
There's been criticism in the past of the way that your brother was involved with Colombian football. People have made allegations about some of the things that he did to do with footballers and football clubs and things. Was that all unfair? How do you respond now to people who talk like that?
Era admirador de jugadores, les ayudaba, hacía pequeños estadios en la ciudad de Medellín, en los barrios populares. De allí, en esas canchas que construyó Pablo, salieron jugadores como René Higuita, como Chonto Herrera. Todos esos jugadores de esa época salieron de los barrios, de las canchas que Pablo regaló. Eso era lo que Pablo hacía, regalarle a la gente pobre canchas de fútbol para que la gente surgiera y buscaran otra alternativa de poder sostener sus familias.
So you'd say that your brothers had a big positive effect on football in Colombia?
Ese era el ideal de él, sino construir jóvenes para que en el futuro tuvieran una profesión, que era el fútbol.
So it seems that Roberto considers his brother a kind of Robin Hood type figure in a city which is, if possible, even more violent than Nottingham.
Before we go, we take a look at some home improvements.
Voy a mostrarles el sitio.
Wow. Here you go.
Cuidado, se golpea adentro, puede entrar.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
Ojo acá cuando vaya a salir.
This is my idea.
Yeah,
Go on, you can be Roberto. No, this is our chance to leave, Henning, here. You'd never know there was a German in here, would you? I wish it was always like this.
There was a ghost in there.
Oh dear.
Then we're bundled back into the minibus and dropped off by the side of the road.
It was a very, very strange experience. I mean, it was the whole thing was just basically odd and slightly distasteful. Sorry.
Perhaps the whole Escobar visit is catching up with Mark, or more likely he's picked up the stomach bug that's been going round the crew.
There's been a bit of illness on the trip, and I'm now feeling closer to death than I was when I was actually in the arena of death that was the Escobar house.
Yeah, as they say, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Back to the hotel, leaving me to roam the streets of Colombia by myself. Well, easy. Tell you what, there is more pedestrians on the road than on the pavement. Oh, that's generous of that big white car to let me through. If I'm on my own, I could sing a bit in a car, couldn't I? Einigkeit und Recht und Freiheit. Lovely song. Anyway, according to Roberto, cocaine money had only a positive effect on the Colombian game. But now I have a meeting with a former player who knows differently. Chonto Herrera was one of the players who, according to Roberto, owes his success to the Escobar-funded playing fields.
Hola. Hola, me llamo Henning.
He represented Colombia in the 1994 World Cup, when the cartel's involvement in football was at its height. After an unbeaten qualifying campaign, expectations in Colombia were high. But things soured when they lost their opening game to Romania and started receiving death threats. Who were the threats from and why were they being made?
No, venían de acá de Colombia. Se rumoraba de que había mucha gente que había apostado mucho dinero, pero fueron momentos supremamente difíciles para el fútbol colombiano y para Colombia en general.
Some drug barons had lost big bets and things went from bad to worse when Colombia lost their second match to the States, thanks to an own goal by Chonto's best friend, Andrés Escobar. With Colombia eliminated from the tournament, the death threats increased and the team was in danger.
La gente estaba muy en desacuerdo con la actuación nuestra. Los apostadores seguramente habían perdido mucho dinero. Ya no regresábamos para Colombia. Algunos de los muchachos de la selección se quedaron en los Estados Unidos porque la situación acá era difícil. Andrés Escobar quería venir a poner la cara y bueno, tomó la decisión de regresar y nos vinimos y bueno, después sucedió lo que pasó.
Less than a week after returning from the tournament, Andres was shot dead. A cartel member was charged with the murder, believed to be retribution for gambling losses as a result of the own goal. And the murder took place right here below us in what used to be a car park. It's hard to imagine it just over there.
Es la primera vez que vengo a
primera
acá.
vez.
Sí, es la primera vez que vengo acá al sitio donde pues murió Andrés Escobar. Fue muy duro, pues la muerte de Andrés. Yo a Andrés lo quería mucho, era como mi hermano.
How did that tragedy affect the country?
A raíz de la muerte de Andrés, también el fútbol colombiano tomó otro rumbo, otra historia diferente, en el sentido de que ya había que mirar las cosas de otro punto de vista, más paz, más no violencia, y el cambio actualmente es bastante positivo para nuestro país.
Narco football died with Andres. Many believe that his death was the tipping point that led Colombia to finally deal with the cartel stranglehold on football and society in general. It's been a long day, and there is only one thing on my mind: getting back to the hotel for a nice cuppa. Oh yeah, and to see how Mark's doing. We're not letting you clock off that easily, as you can imagine.
Oh, good. The cameras.
Yeah, of course.
All of you come in. My day's been pretty challenging too. Two doctors visited my hotel room and offered me an injection in the bum. I declined politely and negotiated them down to pills.
Very good, Mark. Sleep well.
Oh, there we are. Stay prepared to...
Sleep well.
You too, and well done on today, and I'll see you...
No, and you for recovering so well, because I know how hard it is. Sleep well. Bye. Yeah, he's alive and kicking.
After the break, less drugs and death, and more me dancing like an idiot.
As the more observant of you might remember, we're in Colombia.
Yes, we're sampling Colombian life and trying to find out a bit more about football culture in this corner of the world.
We've made the 400-mile journey from Medellin to the country's Caribbean coast. Well, Mark.
You're going to do one of your "Here we are in ...
Well, we actually are in Cartagena. I could almost hear in my head, I could hear like the tune of the Test match special. We knew we were in the Caribbean.
It is a lot like the Caribbean here.
With all the humidity and all that,
the
it
palm
really
trees.
is the palm trees.
It's different.
It is different. Now we really
this
feel
is
like
a
we're
travel
abroad.
documentary.
Also,
yes, and we're starting to make some headway here in terms of this being a factual documentary. Countries are different, and at last we're seeing some proof of that.
yeah. To give us a taste of the region's tropical flavour, we've arranged to meet local food expert Jorge Escandon.
Hey, Mark.
Hey. Okay. How are you, man? Who's offered to give us a tour of the market.
Now, this place specialises in something you don't really want to be dealing with in 40-degree heat after suffering a violent stomach bug.
Fish. Fish, yes. And this is red snapper,
is a
the most
proper
popular fish here.
It's enormous.
Yes.
Goodness me, I've seen smaller flats than that.
So I think you should take a photo and put it on the wall. And look what I caught.
This strongly smelling produce is not really aiding my recovery.
Hello. How are you?
Don't do that. No, don't do that. No, please don't do that.
Okay, let's go.
Even though it looks like he's going to vomit all over the fish, Mark's got a firm admirer.
She wants to go to London with you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, in a suitcase. In his suitcase. Suitcase is big enough.
Okay, we'll get the paperwork done and we'll take her to London.
That's what we do.
Let's just get away from the fish.
She's enjoying it. But there's no escape. Around every corner, more lovely fish.
At least Henning's having fun.
Was a good day at sea once again.
Oh, look. Langoustines.
If anything, he's having slightly too much fun.
Caught that as well, but it's not even worth mentioning.
There's stuff coming out of it. No, I don't think so. God, I reckon that one of those could definitely kill you or me. Well, look. Please don't sneak up on me with a lobster again.
This reminds me of me youth. When I was a little lad, I was working on Billingsgate Market together with Mickey Flanagan. We had a whale of a time, and we shifted loads of fish, we did.
Borge's a lovely chap, but I've had pretty much all I can take.
The stench here defies description.
So we're out of here, but fortunately, Cartagena has more to offer us. This evening, we're meeting a Colombian football hero who is going to be taking us around town.
Yeah, Faustino Asprilla. He's got 2 World Cup appearances to his name. And, well, in Europe, he played for Parma and Newcastle United. And he was so popular, they made him an honorary Geordie. Wahai man.
A legendary party lover and Casanova, Tino's passionate in particular about salsa. Since we're in one of its original homes, who better to take us on a night out?
I tell you what, either I kissed the wrong fish or picked up Mark's buck. I'm not feeling great, and a bender with Tino is more than I can handle. What I need is a night off, and I'm having that night off now. Mark, he's out with Faustino Asprilla. Let's see what them two get up to. Probably just have a quiet drink somewhere.
So now it's me on my own, in a situation where it's possible I may not be the coolest person there.
Hi, Mark.
Hiya, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Everyone in England remembers you. It seems like a beautiful place. Does it remind you of Newcastle? Did you enjoy the nightlife in Newcastle?
Y me recuerdo muy bien la primera noche que salí porque Les Ferdinand me presentó unas mujeres y resulta que cuando las invité al hotel del cuarto, eran 3 neveras, se tomaron todo lo que había adentro.
That will happen in Newcastle.
En el periódico, primera página, donde, en el Daily Mirror, donde salió la primera noche de Asprilla, y las mujeres contaron toda la historia. Después de esa noche, de lo que me pasó, que esa mujer contó esa historia, yo ya no llevaba 2 mujeres al hotel, sino 5 y 6, para que entre todas se confundieran y contaran cada una. I'm joking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but he says he's joking, but he's not. Yeah. Football's important to Colombia because the world can see Colombia in a different way.
Sí, seguro.
In what ways has Colombia changed?
Todas las noticias que salían de Colombia eran malas, nunca salía nada bueno. Drogas, guerrillas, paramilitarismo y mafia. Hay otras cosas que podemos salir adelante también, como salió Shakira con la música, con el fútbol, como lo ha hecho Juan Pablo Montoya en la Fórmula 1. Entonces tenemos mucha gente con mucho talento y que lo hemos llevado a demostrar al mundo que somos buenos, que no somos malos.
Salsa, we're doing salsa now.
Yo llevaba la música, la salsa en el camerino y le ponía a Alan Shearer, los ponía a bailar antes de los partidos en Newcastle. Peor de todo era Alan Shearer, no tenía ni idea.
Shearer's not noted for his salsa.
Sí,
That might have been bleep, but Asprilla had some opinions on Shearer's salsa abilities. What's the key to salsa? What is the most important thing?
En Colombia dicen que el que baila bien hace el amor bien, que él cómo se siente haciendo el amor. Si lo hace bien, baila bien, aprende fácil.
I think sex-wise, I'm certainly not Premier League, but like Champions or League One, but like in the playoffs of League One. But I've never been able to dance. How good a dancer are you?
The best.
There we are.
Pretty soon, Tino is visibly enjoying himself, and I'm certain it's all because of me, not the pretty girls, or the mojitos, or the girls offering him mojitos.
Very good.
Convérsele, convérsele.
Bueno, ya.
Another quick drink, and it's time to hit Tino's favourite salsa bar, where he says he's lined up some friends to dance with us. Hopefully, I'll be more impressive than Shearer was. Naturally, I bring out my best moves.
Hips. Move the hips. I feel a bit bad for Tino because I'm a lot better at this.
Well done, man. Well done.
Thank you, Tino. And you're doing good as well. We're both doing well.
Thank you, man.
Quite soon, Tino is up on stage himself. I go with him, and we fairly quickly become the biggest thing in Colombian music.
Soy Mark Watson.
Mark Watson. Más conocido como Mr. Bean.
Sí, Mr. Bean.
Eventually, I leave Tino to see out the gig himself. I'm a regular guy, and I don't like the phrase salsa legend.
Asprilla and I are a good team. He can't function without me any more than I can without him. The Asprilla-Watson combination that the world was waiting for has now come to fruition. Exciting to see where we go next. Probably we record an album, but we haven't had those discussions yet because it's still early.
After the break, we rejoin my favourite Colombian and take in a game, Asprilla style.
When in Rome.
And I try to give England's World Cup dreams a boost with the help of some white magic.
I'm slightly alarmed here.
We've travelled to the Caribbean coast to sample Colombian life and to find out whether the national team is up to its billing as one of the World Cup's dark horses.
But it's not the only football tournament where Colombia will hope to shine. Next year, there is going to be a World Cup for indigenous people.
There are 87 different indigenous tribes in Colombia who were here prior to the European settlement in the 16th century and who make up about 3.5% of the Colombian population.
Today is a big day for some of the indigenous players as a World Cup selection match is taking place. And guess who is one of the team selectors? None other than Mark's drinking buddy, El Tino.
Tino. Hey. This is my mate, the footballer for Tino's Brit. This is Henning.
I'm not feeling too bad after the night out, and Henning's shaken off the stomach bug, which is just as well, because it turns out that we are guests of honour.
I think that Faustino might get a little bit of attention here.
Yeah, you reckon?
He and I get quite a lot of attention.
Oh, Mark.
Amazing.
Yeah. It might be for him, actually.
I think it might be, yeah.
There's even a band, which is good news for the Asprilla-Watson partnership.
Hey, come on. When in Rome. Now someone turns. There you go. Muchas gracias.
Bueno, mis hermanos, bienvenidos a nuestro territorio indígena. Entre pocos minutos estaremos desarrollando un partido de fútbol, ese fortalecimiento para que nuestra etnia cada día se fortalezca más y se proyecte hacia el beneficio social de nuestras comunidades.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah. So, there's a football match on, he said.
Yes, there's a football match.
Brilliant. Yeah. Muy bueno.
Muy bien.
Un aplauso para los compañeros que nos están visitando.
Muchas gracias.
Compañero Tino.
Seeing we're not playing, made a better team win.
The Indigenous World Cup will only feature teams made of indigenous groups from across the world.
In the World Cup, a lot of players will make excuses about the conditions and stuff, but these guys are playing on sand with what looks as light as a beach ball, and their control, their touch is really impressive.
Today, the players are trying to impress a selection panel, including another football legend, whom Tino wants us to meet.
Great honour. Aside from being an ex-pro himself, Tino's made Radamel Falcao his father to Radamel Falcao, Colombia's star player and probably one of the best strikers around.
But days ago, just before he arrived in Colombia, Falcao Jr. got a knee injury which could rule him out of the tournament. Should I mention that we've been in the wars a bit ourselves?
How is Falcao now? We know he got injured just this week, just when we arrived in Colombia. How does he feel?
Bueno, la operación salió muy bien. Ahora esas operaciones son muy sencillas. Antiguamente eran muy difíciles porque no existía esa tecnología. Ahora lo que hay que hacer es recuperarse, esperar el tiempo adecuado que dicen los médicos. Bueno, yo siempre he dicho que si hay un milagro, que de pronto diga se regeneró el ligamento y está bien para jugar, magnífico. Si no, que se tome el tiempo adecuado para jugar 5 o 6 meses o los 7 meses, pero que esté bien, porque por un partido o por 3 partidos que puede jugar en el Mundial puede perder su carrera futbolística.
And Radamel, what does it feel like seeing you were a professional footballer and now the son eclipsed you, son is doing better than you? You feeling proud? Is it predominantly proud, or does he give you a lot of stick as well?
Bueno, porque cuando yo estaba finalizando mi carrera futbolística, yo anhelaba tener un hijo, varón, y que siguiera mi legado, mi carrera. Uno siempre quiere que sus hijos lo superen.
What do you think of these players? Can you see any players who you think are going to make it?
Bueno, hay algunos muchachos que se destacan, ¿no? El número 15 se juega bien.
How important do you think it is for these kind of guys to have a kind of a structure like this to play football in, to have this kind of organization?
Eso es muy importante, pero en la época de nosotros no existía escuela de fútbol ni nada. A veces magníficos jugadores desaparecen porque no tienen la suerte, no tienen el padrinaje, no tienen esa oportunidad y posibilidad de llegar a buenos equipos.
Well, from the skill on display, some of these players could have a very bright future indeed. But it's time now for us to say goodbye to El Tino. We've got an appointment to keep.
Thanks for all the memories.
No, thanks you for
All the memories.
coming to
Stay in touch.
country.
Oh, we'll be back.
Yeah,
Oh,
next
wow.
time I won't call in sick, I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See in Brazil,
Any tips for Brazil?
not too much woman, because be careful.
I see. Okay. Thank you, Tino.
Lovely. Good advice.
See you later.
Sound advice. Lovely shirt. Lovely work.
Vamos, vamos, Argentina, vamos, vamos a ganar. Que esa barra quilombera no te deja de alentar. ¡Vamos, come on!
Yeah, we have to go back to town because Mark wants to meet a witch or something.
But not quite a witch, a santero.
What is he? Is he voodoo?
We're not allowed to. We're not meant to say voodoo apparently because that is sort of like bad magic, and he does white magic. Good.
Oh yeah.
Like many parts of the Caribbean, this region of Colombia has a long association with voodoo and witchcraft that's still alive today. Around here, local priests or santeros are used by football teams to bring them good luck, and England could certainly do with some of that.
Obviously, I mean, I humour you with this. We go there now. I'll drive you there happily.
I've got no idea how this guy will operate. I do know that I've had to bring an England shirt, which he's going to sort of do something with, and maybe all I'm saying is I'm open-minded. I'm prepared to let this guy.
But if this really worked, then Haiti would win the World Cup every single time, and you look in the record book how many times they have won it.
So we're venturing into the back streets of Cartagena to meet one of the region's most popular santero. Luis Carlos has been practicing white magic for over 20 years, communicating with the spirits to help people in love, life, and more to the point, football.
Oh, hola.
Buenas.
Hola, Luis.
Mi nombre es Luis.
Luis, nice to meet you. Me llamo Henning. It's Mark.
Hola. Hola. Me llamo Mark. I've brought a shirt of England. England have really never seemed to quite reach their potential in the World Cup, so how do we do this?
¿Me permite tocar la camiseta? Los buenos espíritus dicen de que hay mucha negatividad Entonces, te voy a mirar los caracoles para profundizar y... Los caracoles hablan de fuerzas negativas, mentales, a nivel de equipo. En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo.
To try and dispel any negativity from the shirt, the Santero claims to perform a special ritual.
Gracias.
England is about to win the World Cup.
Él repita algo conmigo en cada competencia,
En cada competencia,
con lo pequeño que juegue
con lo pequeño de juegue,
o lo grande,
o lo grande, whoever they're playing
siempre,
with. Siempre,
seremos victoriosos.
siempre seremos victoriosos.
He's not going to touch me with the fire, right?
En nombre del
Yes, that
Padre,
is real lighter fluid he's pouring around me. I certainly would not recommend trying this at
nos dé la
home.
dicha y la fortuna de encontrarnos en purificación.
Okay. El
Look a bit more excited,
purificación.
Mark.
I'm slightly
You look
alarmed.
slightly tense.
I'm slightly tense. I'm slightly alarmed here. By the...
I mean, I stand quite close to the fire.
Con esto queda protegido y queda santificado. Los buenos espíritus dicen que gozarás de éxitos y tendrás logros grandes. A cerrar con una aseguranza de tu camiseta como símbolo de templanza. Mientras la lleve, repite conmigo. Así es
Así es,
y así será.
y así será,
Porque tú lo dices,
porque tú lo
dices,
dices,
yo lo digo.
yo lo digo,
Y H para todo.
aquí para todo.
H. Necesito que me entregues nuevamente la camiseta.
Yes. Thank you.
The England B team, the Ireland shirt.
Esta camiseta,
Esta camiseta,
símbolo
símbolo
de mi renovación.
de mi
Renovación.
renovación. Gracias.
Yeah, muchas gracias. Been a tremendous experience. If England come good on that, I'll be here the day after the World Cup final with my Germany shirt. I
Adios.
promise.
Adios.
Gracias.
Well,
Now,
I mean, now,
Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Mark Watson.
I don't want the credit yet. We have to win the World Cup before we know for sure, but it looks...
But if, then all the credit is due to you.
I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I do feel good about the shirt. Also, he said the shirt would make me feel more confident and secure, which I'd like that in my life.
No, it seems to, from my memory, whenever I see England fans abroad with that shirt, they certainly use a certain degree of confidence.
Yeah.
When the moment a plastic chair start flying, that's the sort of bloke you are.
Yeah, that's why Aspria loves me so much.
After the break, we take a step closer to Rio by visiting Ecuador, another World Cup underdog.
Watson's
And discover a small valley that's delivered big for the national team.
3 village, 8 players and play in the World Cup.
8 of the...
Eight
That is
players.
just silly. Our time in Colombia is nearly over and a visit to Ecuador awaits, but there is still time for one more little treat. We're going to a mud volcano.
What?
We're going to a mud volcano.
You can keep saying mud volcano as many times as you want. Doesn't mean I'll...
Well, it
that
is a
exists.
volcano.
It's not a thing.
It's a volcano with mud in it.
So what, is it meant to be relaxing or something? Because I don't
Yeah,
really like...
relaxing, good laugh, good for the skin, all that lark.
Like a jacuzzi then, but mucky. A mucky jacuzzi.
It is essentially Atlantis.
In a volcano.
In a way that you become young again.
Right, well that's the thing. I'm not sure I want to be 14 again. I'd settle for resetting the clock to say 24 though.
Yeah, then just don't stay in for too long.
Right, okay, well, yeah, okay.
The volcano, its name is Alchatumo, and He was active until a local priest had enough, claimed it to be the devil's work, and used holy water to turn fire and lava into mud. How convenient.
It's a pity he didn't turn it into actual water or lemonade or really anything else that you could go in, isn't it?
Oh, this is quite steep, isn't it?
But luckily, it will all be worth it for the unspecified healing properties the mud has to offer.
But at the top, Henning doesn't fancy it, which leads some of his critics to ask why he brought us all the way here. And by some of his critics, I mean me.
Honestly, I can't go down there. My main issue is we're essentially on the top of a needle.
I've noticed
and now
that,
I
yes.
have to climb down into something where we have got no idea when, how, and if we'll ever get out again.
Well, we've not come to the top of Colombia's only mud volcano to not go in it. I don't want to,
Well, I
but we're
just
doing it.
contemplate just that.
This is fine, this is fine.
Of course, it's only 2 days ago that I was ill, so let's see if lying in mud will make me feel better.
Yeah.
Now you're in.
Oh.
What does it feel like?
It feels all sorts of wrong. My life has officially reached a point where I have to take a long, hard look at some of the decisions that I've made. It's meant to be a relaxing experience, this, but oddly enough, having two strange men smear gunk into every crevice of my body is actually putting me a little bit on edge. Oh, the guy's literally rubbing it in. I see where the phrase rubbing it in comes from now. It's when you're already disconcerted and someone starts applying volcanic mud to your torso in Colombia.
You should be up here, Mark. Enjoy the view, it's amazing. It's over there, it's bits of rainforest. A UFO actually flew
There's
by.
mud in my ears. There's mud in my ears.
Yeah, there is.
It's no good you talking. There's mud in my ears. The amount of time I've spent in a car with you, I wish I'd have mud in my ears from day one. After 10 minutes, it's time to get out and be touched intimately by yet another man I don't know.
Mr. Watson.
Oh, there's a bit in my hair, isn't there? There's a bit in my hair. Is there a bit on my face as well? My main memory of being down there is that you weren't there.
Yeah, I'm not feeling right.
Where are we going to go next that you aren't going to actually participate in then? Should we go bullfighting and then you can watch from the stand?
Fortunately, there is a lady stranger on hand to wipe me down.
I'm ever so dirty, I'm afraid.
Mark, having a good time?
Well, having the mud taken off is nice, not so much the pants.
I'm naked. It's all over.
Having fun there in the water with his water frolics?
My stomach bug has certainly gone now, but my anxiety levels are through the roof, and it's not helped by Henning's refusal to join in with any of this.
There he comes, Neptune out of water, there he comes. And are you feeling rejuvenated, Mark?
I'll feel rejuvenated when I've beaten the crap out of you, yeah. Another day at work.
I do the driving, Mark does the activities. That's how I like it.
That was jolly relaxing.
Well, that's the main thing.
A lady that I'd never met, who was in her 50s, has seen with my penis.
Sorry.
My hair's all sort of fluffy from where the mud was washed
No, but
out.
it's sweet, though.
Thank you. It's been interesting to see how Colombia has turned things round, putting its drug history behind it and embracing a bright future where World Cup success is a real possibility.
Thank you, Colombia. But we did promise to visit every South American country to have qualified for this year's World Cup, so hello, Ecuador.
Yes, Ecuador, home to the Galapagos Islands, which inspired Darwin's theory of natural selection. Of course, explains how we descended from our ape cousins.
Allegedly. We begin at the capital city, Quito, which is the highest capital in the world, at 2,800 meters above sea level.
I was going to say, yeah, what do we already know about Ecuador, but obviously not that much. It is a very high altitude, that's the one thing it's famous for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ecuador, it's going to be...
My ears will be delighted.
Your ears, your famously difficult ears, are going to have even more ear-related worries. To make it even more sort of bizarre, we're only in Ecuador for a really short time. We're here, and then by tomorrow night we're out again. It's
not
a day
even
trip.
back away, we're away again.
We're not staying long here because there's not that much to Ecuador. Plus, by the start of the next episode, we have to have reached Brazil.
This will be their third tournament, and with France, Switzerland and Honduras in their group, they're not guaranteed to last long in this one.
There's something very special about Ecuador. Unbelievably, almost half of the squad come from one remote valley.
You couldn't make it up. We're making the journey from Quito to the rural Chota Valley, which, despite being one of Ecuador's more isolated areas, has produced more international footballers than any other remote valley in the world. once I made here.
Look at that, I've never been able to do that.
No.
Watson's... Important to call for them. Watson's! No, it wasn't there.
Neezers.
You can see why this is an area that produces a world record number of internationals, because they're all really good at football. So there you go, that's that mystery solved, off to Brazil. Also, the altitude here is quite noticeable, so to be able to do anything at this sort of height, you'd have to be very fit.
Chota is being transformed before our very eyes, and that's all the work of an ex-player who's amongst the valley's success stories.
Ulises de la Cruz was born here and played in both of Ecuador's World Cups. He impressed many European teams with his skill and by having so many names. He signed for Hibs in Scotland and then eventually, to escape the cold, came to the Premier League where he signed for Villa.
Since retiring, Ulises has turned his hand to politics, representing this area as an elected member of the National Assembly. And he's been hard at work building a medical centre, a sports centre and a new school for the people of El Chota.
Which makes him the first person to finish 3 building projects without the builders dropping out or asking for more money. Ulises.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
And you, my name's Henning.
I'm Mark.
Hello.
Okay. You were actually born here, this village?
Yes, I live in Quito, working in Quito, but never forget come back to this village.
Of course, yeah. So you're an MP now, you work in the parliament?
Yes, I'm working in the parliament. I need to involve in more politics for help this area.
Right. You've got a lot of stuff here.
Yes, now it's looking good.
It's looking
10
great.
years ago it's terrible to see. Now it's improved.
Yeah.
People are more happy.
The school is massive.
When will it begin, the school?
I think it's ready for in 2 months.
Quicker than the World Cup stadiums.
Yes, yes. This is more quick.
Yeah. You should have built those. You should have built the World Cup stadiums as well.
Yeah.
To try to get to the bottom of what makes the valley so special, Ulises is first taking us to the top.
Yes.
Yeah, give me a helping hand.
I help.
Yeah, help the elderly.
For me, no difficult.
Help the elderly.
You live here.
Yeah.
It's good for your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, good for your heart. You need to come every day.
So it obviously must work because so many World Cup players have come just from what we can see here.
Yes, this is the Valle del Chota. All the 3 villages, 8 players play in the World Cup.
8 of the Euro.
That is just
Ecuador
silly.
Yes.
It's insane, yeah.
So have you got very good trainers here, very good coaches in the local area?
Yeah, this is natural. Play every afternoon. When you finish school,
Yeah.
football is only the one option because before no have proper school,
Yeah.
before no have proper boots, proper houses, water system, no have nothing in this area.
So essentially, you're undermining, building that school, you're undermining Ecuador's footballing future.
Don't build a school. You need to...
And thanks to you, they'll all be working in IT soon rather than play football.
It's been a short visit, but a fascinating one. We might not be any closer to finding out the valley's secret, but at least we do get to have a kick around with Ulises. I'm having a quiet game by my standards. It's been quite something, hasn't it, this valley? And it's been, I mean, we didn't really ever get to the secret of, we found out why people here all want to become footballers. It's almost impossible to say why so many of them succeeded.
That is still absolutely beyond me.
We will perhaps never know why they've been so much more successful here, but that's it. We're off to Brazil.
Yeah, and we can take them with us to Brazil.
Yeah, that'll be
Where
very
we're going
interesting
next.
there, I should think. Yes, we are. The last country. We're nearly insane. Let's go to Brazil.
Brazil, the boys to Brazil.
And next time, we do finally reach Brazil.
Here we are in Brazil,
Well done,
final
mate.
destination. Where we'll be seeking the ingredients of samba football.
Yeah, that's all right. Henning gets in training.
Jay is bleeding heavy. Mark is waxed within an inch of his life.
And we take on some of the greatest footballers ever seen.
See you next week.
Oh, it can be great.